Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna, and today we're talking about something everyone experiences but almost nobody enjoys: waiting. We wait for buses, replies to messages, food at restaurants, job interview results, and even weekends. Waiting can feel boring, stressful, or endless, but it can also teach us a lot about language, emotions, and daily life. For English learners, this topic is useful because it connects to common conversations and practical vocabulary. We'll explore why waiting feels so difficult, which English expressions are often used, and how to make waiting time more productive and less frustrating.
Hi everyone, I'm Jake, and I love this topic because it sounds simple, but it's actually connected to psychology, culture, and communication. Let's begin with a very useful word: patience. Patience means the ability to stay calm while something takes time. If you say, "I need more patience," you mean you want to become better at waiting without getting angry or anxious. The opposite idea is impatience. If someone is impatient, they want results immediately. You can hear people say, "I'm getting impatient," when a delay is longer than expected. These are common and natural expressions, so they're great for everyday English.
That's true. And here's another helpful word: delay. A delay is when something happens later than planned. Flights have delays, trains have delays, and projects can be delayed too. You can say, "There was a delay on the highway," or "My flight was delayed by 2 hours." Notice the difference between the noun and the verb. A delay is the thing, but to delay means to cause something to happen later. For example, heavy rain delayed our trip. Intermediate learners should practice both forms because they appear often in travel, work, and customer service situations.
Now let's ask a simple question: why does waiting feel so long sometimes? One reason is uncertainty. Uncertainty means you do not know exactly what will happen or when it will happen. A 5-minute wait can feel much longer if nobody explains the situation. Imagine waiting at a clinic. If the receptionist says, "The doctor is running 20 minutes late," you may still feel annoyed, but the wait becomes easier because you have clear information. In contrast, if nobody says anything, your mind starts creating worries. You may think, "Did they forget me? Is there a problem?" Uncertainty often makes waiting feel heavier.
Yes, and that idea teaches us an important communication skill. When people are waiting, information matters. Even a short update can reduce stress. This is why businesses often say things like, "Thank you for your patience," or "We apologize for the inconvenience." Inconvenience is another excellent vocabulary word. It means a small problem that makes life less comfortable or more difficult. A delayed train is an inconvenience. A broken elevator can be an inconvenience. It is not always a disaster, but it creates trouble. If you understand this word, you will notice it everywhere in formal English.
There is also an interesting difference between occupied time and unoccupied time. Occupied means busy or active. Unoccupied means empty or without activity. People usually feel better when they have something to do while they wait. Waiting in a line for 10 minutes with music, a podcast, or a good conversation can feel shorter than waiting in silence for 5 minutes. This gives us a practical tip for life and language learning. Prepare a short waiting routine. Save a vocabulary list on your phone, read one short article, or review flashcards. Then waiting time becomes study time instead of dead time.
I like that phrase, dead time, because learners hear it in real conversations. It means time that feels wasted because nothing useful is happening. But of course, not every moment of waiting needs to become work. Sometimes it is healthy to pause. In fact, another good expression is take a breath. If you tell someone, "Take a breath," you mean calm down for a moment. When people are stuck in traffic or standing in a long line, their stress can rise quickly. A deep breath, a little stretching, or simply relaxing your shoulders can change your mood more than you expect.
Let's talk about lines, because this is a cultural and language topic too. In American English, people often say line, while in British English, queue is more common. Both mean people waiting one after another for a service or place. You might say, "We waited in line for coffee," or "We stood in a queue outside the theater." Another phrase is cut in line. That means to move ahead of others unfairly. If someone cuts in line, people usually get upset because waiting has a strong connection to fairness. We can tolerate waiting more easily when the system seems fair.
That point about fairness is so important. If two people arrive at the same time, but one person gets helped first for no clear reason, the other person may feel offended. Offended means hurt or upset by something that feels disrespectful. This is why clear rules matter in public spaces. Now, for English learners, here are two very practical polite questions. Excuse me, is this the end of the line? And about how long is the wait? These are useful in airports, museums, cafes, and ticket counters. They sound respectful, and they help you get information without sounding demanding.
And speaking of sounding respectful, tone matters a lot when we talk about waiting. Compare these two sentences: I've been waiting for 30 minutes, and I've been waiting for 30 minutes and this is ridiculous. The first sentence states a fact. The second expresses strong frustration. Neither is impossible to use, but the tone changes the whole interaction. If you need help, it is often better to be calm and specific. You can say, "Hi, I just wanted to check on the status of my order." Status means the current situation or stage of something. That phrase sounds polite and professional.
Let's connect this to grammar for a moment. Jake just used a very common structure, I've been waiting. That is the present perfect continuous tense, and it is perfect for actions that started in the past and are still continuing now. You can say, I've been waiting since noon, or, she has been waiting for a response all week. Notice the difference between since and for. Since is used with a starting point, like since Monday. For is used with a period of time, like for 3 days. This grammar pattern appears naturally in many real-world situations.
Another interesting idea is expectation. Expectation means what you believe will happen. Waiting feels easier when your expectations are realistic. If a restaurant is full on a Saturday night, a 20-minute wait may feel normal. But if you expect it to sit down immediately, the same 20 minutes may feel terrible. This is useful in English because people often soften expectations with phrases like, it might take a while, or, there could be a bit of a wait. A bit of is a gentle, common phrase. It often makes a sentence sound less harsh and more conversational.
I also want to mention emotional vocabulary. During a wait, people may feel restless, anxious, irritated, or relieved. Restless means unable to relax because you want action or movement. Anxious means worried or nervous about what might happen. Irritated means slightly angry or annoyed. Relieved means you feel better because the difficult part is over. Try making your own examples. I felt anxious while waiting for my exam result. We were irritated by the slow service. She looked relieved when the train finally arrived. These words are powerful because they help you describe emotions accurately.
Here's a practical life tip: separate controllable things from uncontrollable things. If the weather delays your train, you probably cannot change that. But you can control whether your phone is charged, whether you have water, and whether you packed something useful to read. This mindset reduces frustration because it shifts your focus. Shift means to move from one position or idea to another. You shift your attention away from the delay itself and toward your response. That is a valuable lesson not just for waiting, but for work, study, and relationships too.
That reminds me of another phrase people use all the time: make the most of it. If you make the most of a situation, you use it in the best possible way, even if it is not ideal. For example, if your flight is delayed, you can make the most of it by reviewing notes, calling a friend, or observing useful English around you on signs and announcements. Airports are actually interesting places for learners because they are full of real, repeated English. You see words like boarding, gate, departure, arrival, security, and final call.
Waiting is also related to technology. These days, we are used to instant results. Messages arrive quickly, videos load fast, and food can be ordered with an app. Because of that, our tolerance for waiting may be getting weaker. Tolerance here means the ability to accept something unpleasant without too much reaction. If your internet is slow for 10 seconds, it can already feel annoying. That tells us something important: sometimes the problem is not the length of the wait, but the habit of expecting speed all the time. Slowing down can feel uncomfortable, but it can also build patience.
And patience is valuable far beyond transportation or customer service. Language learning itself requires patience. You do not become fluent overnight. Sometimes progress feels invisible, and that can be frustrating. But small improvements are still real improvements. Maybe you understand one more podcast episode this month. Maybe you hesitate less when speaking. Maybe you remember new vocabulary more easily. These changes often happen gradually. Gradually means slowly over time, not all at once. So in a way, every English learner is also learning how to wait, trust the process, and continue practicing.
I love that connection. And here is one more communication tip. If you are the person causing someone else to wait, be honest and clear. Instead of disappearing or sending no message, try saying, "I'm sorry, I'm running about 10 minutes late," or, "Thank you for waiting, I'll be with you shortly." Shortly means soon, usually in a short time. These phrases show respect. Good communication does not always remove the wait, but it often removes confusion, and confusion is what makes waiting emotionally harder for many people.
Before we finish, let's do a quick recap. Today we talked about patience, impatience, delay, uncertainty, inconvenience, and expectation. We also looked at emotional words like anxious, restless, irritated, and relieved. You learned useful phrases such as "Is this the end of the line?" About how long is the wait, "I've been waiting for," "Make the most of it," and "Thank you for your patience." Our practical tips were simple: get clear information, prepare something useful to do, focus on what you can control, and use waiting time as a chance to learn or reset.
Exactly. Waiting is a normal part of life, but it does not have to be wasted time. It can be a chance to practice calm communication, learn new vocabulary, and notice your own reactions. If today's episode helped you, please subscribe to the English Daily Podcast and share it with a friend who is learning English too. Keep listening, keep practicing, and remember that real progress often takes time. Thanks for being with us today, and we'll see you in the next episode.